In a tranquil monastery nestled within a lush forest, there lived a young monk named Rio. The air was fragrant with the scent of pine, and the gentle rustling of leaves provided a soothing background to his daily meditations. Rio was eager to learn the ways of Zen, but despite his dedication, he struggled with his meditation practice. Each time he sat in silence, his mind would wander, filled with distractions and noise. Rio often heard the senior monks discussing the concept of the sound of one hand clapping, a riddle that seemed both perplexing and intriguing. He was determined to grasp its meaning, believing it held the key to his meditation practice and spiritual growth. One morning, as the sun rose over the horizon, Rio approached the Zen master, an elderly monk known for his wisdom and insight. The master was sitting beneath a cherry blossom tree, its pink petals dancing in the gentle breeze. Rio bowed respectfully and asked, "Master, what is the sound of one hand clapping?" The master opened his eyes, a twinkle of amusement in his gaze. "Ah, the eternal question. But rather than answering directly, let us seek the answer together." He gestured for Rio to sit beside him, and they began a journey into the depths of understanding. The master took Rio to a secluded area of the forest where they could hear the soft sounds of nature, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the distant sound of a babbling brook. "Close your eyes, Rio, and listen," the master instructed. "Listen not only to the sounds around you, but also to the silence between them." Rio followed the master's guidance, shutting his eyes and taking deep breaths. As he focused on the natural symphony around him, he felt a wave of calm wash over him. He began to notice the subtle sounds that usually went unnoticed, the whisper of the wind, the soft crunch of leaves beneath his feet, and even the faint sound of his own heartbeat. After several moments, the master asked, "What do you hear, Rio?" "I hear many sounds, master, but there is also silence," Rio replied, feeling a sense of clarity beginning to emerge. "Exactly," the master said with a smile. "Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is a profound space where understanding resides. Now, let us contemplate the meaning of one hand clapping." Over the next few weeks, Rio engaged in daily sessions with the master, exploring the depths of the riddle. The master would present various scenarios, each designed to challenge Rio's understanding. They would sit by the river, observing the water flowing effortlessly around obstacles, and the master would ask, "What is the sound of the river?" "It is the sound of water flowing," Rio would respond. "But what if the water stopped flowing?" "What then?" the master would challenge. Rio contemplated this question deeply. "The silence of the river," he finally replied. "Good. Now, what if the river had no sound? What remains?" The master pressed on. "The essence of the river itself," Rio answered, beginning to grasp the concept that the riddle of one hand clapping was about the essence of things beyond their physical presence. As days turned into weeks, Rio found himself immersed in the teachings of the master. One day, while meditating in the forest, he suddenly had a realization. He was seated on a moss-covered rock, surrounded by the sounds of nature. When it struck him, the sound of one hand clapping was not meant to be understood through intellect, but through experience. With eyes still closed, he felt the gentle breeze against his skin, the warmth of the sun, and the heartbeat of the earth beneath him. In that moment, he understood that the answer lay in being fully present in the moment, embracing both the sounds and the silence. He opened his eyes, a sense of peace washing over him. Rio rushed back to the master, excitement bubbling within him. "Master, I believe I understand now. The sound of one hand clapping is the experience of being alive, of being present." The master nodded, a proud smile illuminating his face. You have taken your first step towards true understanding. Now carry this realization with you as you continue your journey. Empowered by this newfound understanding, Rio continued to deepen his meditation practice. He learned to embrace the silence, allowing it to guide him to clarity and insight. The distractions that once plagued his mind began to dissipate as he focused on the essence of his experiences, both in meditation and in daily life. Rio also shared his insights with his fellow monks, encouraging them to explore their own interpretations of the riddle. He organized discussions where they would reflect on their experiences and learn from one another. The monastery became a place of vibrant dialogue, filled with laughter and camaraderie. Years later, Rio became a respected teacher in his own right. One day, a young novice approached him, asking, "Master Rio, what is the sound of one hand clapping?" Rio smiled, recalling his own journey. "Let us find out together," he replied, guiding the novice to the same spot where he had once meditated with the Zen master. As they sat beneath the cherry blossom tree, Rio encouraged the novice to listen deeply, just as he had done years before. "Silence speaks volumes if you are willing to listen," he whispered, watching the petals fall gently around them.